Good afternoon,
Recording in
everyone.
progress.
This is your Spanish interpreter, just reminding you that as usual, we have simultaneous Spanish interpretation for this meeting, as well as ASL. So if you would like to access the ASL interpretation and you're joining with that computer, once the feature starts, you'll see at the bottom of your screen of your menu, a globe. You need to click on the globe and select ASL. If you're joining with a cell phone or a tablet, your options will be a bit different. You need to tap your screen and find the menu with the three dots with the word more, either on top or at the bottom of your device. Select language interpretation, select ASL, and then select done. If you need any help accessing the interpretation, you can let us know in the chat, and I'm going to give my instructions in Spanish. Buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos. Este es su intérprete de español, recordándoles que como siempre tenemos la interpretación simultánea disponible para aquellos de ustedes que necesiten escuchar la junta en español. Si ustedes ingresaron con una computadora, una vez que la interpretación sea activada, usted va a ver el icono de un mundo en la parte de abajo de su pantalla. Por favor, seleccione ese icono y seleccione el canal de español. Si usted ingresó con un teléfono móvil o con una tableta, sus opciones se van a ver un poco diferentes. Necesitan tocar su pantalla y van a buscar el menú de los tres puntitos con la palabra más o more, ya sea en la parte de arriba o abajo de su dispositivo. Seleccione interpretación de idioma, después seleccione español y por último el botón que dice done, listo o finalizado. Si necesita ayuda accesando al canal, puede dejarme saber en el chat para poderle ayudar. Thank you very much. We can start interpretation.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Altadena Community Meeting. We have a few short presentations and then we will answer questions that have been pre-submitted by community members. Zoom attendees can submit questions in real time using the question and answer function on your screen. Agency representatives are on the Zoom meeting responding live. Please note that questions submitted to the YouTube live chat will not be answered. To join us on Zoom, please scan the QR code on your screen. With that, Supervisor Barger, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today to keep you informed about the Eaton Fire recovery work and support. This past weekend, I was once again up in Altadena, and I was really encouraged to see more properties with the debris cleared away. I'm seeing more lots that look ready for construction to start. And as your supervisor, I have been listening closely and tracking Altadena's rebuilding progress. I've directed our county departments in charge of approving building plans to provide transparent information and data about the pace of rebuilding in Altadena. As a result, a new dashboard is now accessible on recovery.lacounty.gov, where you can see how many building plans have been submitted and approved. For the Eaton Fire region, there are 374 plans that have been submitted, of which almost 200 have been cleared to submit building plans. Currently, only 83 building plans have been submitted, of which 14 are approved pending clearances for mostly debris removal. Only 5 building plans have been approved. It is clear to me that we need to make improvements quickly. Our traditional plan review process may work under normal circumstances, although I would argue we need to look at an entire new way of doing building permits, but the status quo isn't acceptable now. Given the scale of loss in Altadena, we need to think outside of the box and implement new, faster, and more responsive approaches. I'm glad to share that our county is cultivating strong partnerships to pick up the pace of rebuilding in Altadena. We're not doing this alone. On April 30th, the county partnered with the state of California to launch the new AI-powered software that will help accelerate permit approvals. This cutting-edge tool uses artificial intelligence to review residential rebuilding plans more efficiently. It's being provided free of charge to local governments and to the applicants, thanks to an innovative partnership between the state and a group of philanthropic organizations. This kind of innovation is exactly what we need, not just to recover, but to recover smarter and faster. Also, I expect to hear back from our Chief Executive Officer in the next few days on the establishment of the Unified Permitting Authority for the Eaton Fire. The new authority will have the responsibility and the authority to manage the interactions and challenges across the 4 permitting departments. Altadena deserves a rebuilding process that reflects the urgency of this moment. That's why I've introduced a motion, which the board will vote on tomorrow, To help further streamline the rebuilding process, my motion directs LA County Public Works to design and implement a self-certification pilot program for single-family home projects. This program will allow licensed professionals to certify that their plans meet the code requirements. This will eliminate weeks of review time for eligible projects. The motion also directs the county's CEO to identify a way to partially or fully waive permitting fees for rebuilds in Altadena. My motion, along with our collaboration with the state and the new AI tools now available, will reduce the cost of permitting by reducing the amount of staff time required to process plans and permits. I'm also asking the CEO to review permit fee models implemented by the city of Santa Rosa and others that have faced similar recovery efforts. We need to remove the financial bureaucratic barriers that so many families are facing so that they can rebuild faster and get back at what we want to do, and that is to rebuild Altadena. I'll keep working every day to ensure the county is a true partner in your recovery. Before I close, I want to highlight a new program designed to help small businesses located in Altadena. Tomorrow, we are launching the Altadena Disaster Relief Small Business Loan Program. This initiative will provide up to $75,000 in support to local small businesses impacted by this devastating Eaton Fire. To be eligible, businesses must operate a public-facing physical storefront located in unincorporated areas, zip codes 91101 or 91004. Each qualified applicant may receive up to $75,000 with a 15-year loan term. Funds will be distributed directly to the borrower. Businesses that receive the FEMA assistance are eligible to apply. Again, businesses that have received FEMA assistance are eligible to apply. For more information, dial 626-568-1760 or visit Altadena Biz Relief, ALTADENABIZRELIEF.LACDA.org. Altadena small business owners are one of the community's lifelines. With this support, we're standing with them as they recover and continue to serve our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. And turning it over now to Colonel Avichal with the Army Corps to provide us with an update.
Okay. Thank you, Supervisor, and thanks for allowing me to speak today. So just for awareness, I'll give a quick update on where we are in terms of the debris removal and essentially how many crews we have operating. So for awareness, right now, we have 5,600 rights of entry. That's people who have opted into the program, and there are approximately 400 who have opted out of the program. As of this morning, we have 129 crews that are actively doing debris removal. And this has been the same number of crews for the last 3 weeks. So we're essentially hitting our plateau stage right now. In terms of cleared properties, this is cleared of the fire ash debris. We are at 3,800 properties that have been cleared as of today. And then that have, in terms of properties that have been completed, that means that the right of entry is returned back to the county. We're at 1,900 properties. Our average is about 68 properties per day cleared of fire ash debris every single day. So again, you will continue to see a significant amount of work happening throughout Altadena. We have been getting additional properties as well. So the Altadena parks, we've already completed work at Loma Alta Park, and then we are starting work at Farnsworth Park, Charles White, and the Eaton Canyon Nature Center. We also have mission assignments for certain private nonprofits, so Lifeline Fellowship, Pasadena Jewish Temple, and the Altadena Senior Center. We are also beginning work this week. We've begun work at multifamily properties that are owner occupied. So those properties are beginning debris removal beginning this week. Okay, that concludes my update, and I will be on for any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. And now I will turn it over to Mitch Glaser with the Department of Regional Planning for a joint update with the Department of Public Works. Mitch?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mitch Glaser. I'm an Assistant Deputy Director in Regional Planning. So we'll go ahead and start by talking about the One-Stop Permit Center. If we could go to the next slide, please. Our One-Stop Permit Center for the unincorporated communities that have been impacted by the Eaton Fire is located at 464 West Woodbury Road, Suite 210 in Altadena. So all of the county permitting agencies, including the Fire Department, Public Health, Public Works, Regional Planning, and also Southern California Edison are all located together to answer questions and process permits. Walk-ins are welcome from 8 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. At the One Stop, we also offer consultation appointments for individuals and small groups. You can schedule an appointment by visiting recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding. The appointments are customized to provide individual property-specific information such as permit and assessor records for owners and their design professionals so that they can help prepare the rebuild plans and streamline the rebuild permitting process. We also have many online resources at recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding, and that site will continue to be updated with those resources to provide guidance on rebuilding. I'll now transition to the permit process. If we can move to the next slide. As we continue to provide regular updates, I wanted to take a moment to go over the current rebuild permitting process. We're committing to doing business in a different way, as the supervisor mentioned, and we've changed our processes to make them simpler and more efficient for homeowners. We've developed a single streamlined permit application process for all the county departments. You only need to submit one application, and you can do so online or in person at our Altadena One Stop. The process begins with my team. We conduct a zoning review of the application first, and the purpose of the zoning review is to confirm what you can build on your property and where. And since the process starts with our team, we do encourage you to consult with us first, especially if you're looking for a like-for-like rebuild project. A like-for-like rebuild project has structures that are about the same size, in the same location, and for the same purpose as the previous structures that were damaged or destroyed by the fire. And the benefit of a like-for-like rebuild project is that the structures do not need to comply with the current zoning and setback requirements and can keep non-conforming conditions. Once you receive the zoning clearance and you have the full set of building plans, your application will continue to the next step of the process, which is to receive reviews by any other departments, including Public Works, Building and Safety, to verify how your structure is proposed to be built. The plans will also be routed to any other needed departments who will complete their reviews at the same time. All of the departments are committing to expediting the reviews. Rebuild projects will be reviewed in 10 business days for the initial review and 5 business days for any additional reviews. And as the supervisor mentioned, the county has partnered with ArchiStar, which is AI-powered software that can check plans for zoning and building code compliance before they're even submitted to us. And we're looking forward to implementing that technology because we do believe it will reduce review times significantly. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Kira Barnett at the Department of Public Works.
Great, thank you very much, Mitch. And we'll pull up the next slide. I appreciate the opportunity to provide an update on our rebuilding progress in Altadena. As debris removal efforts are ongoing, we know that more homeowners are beginning to turn their attention to the rebuild process. And we know that each of you is at your own stage of decision-making in this process. And they're important decisions that may take time. And so we want to assure you that we're here to support you at whatever point you are at. In Altadena, as of this morning, so I do have a screenshot up here from our dashboard that the supervisor mentioned. It's called our permitting progress dashboard, and it can be accessed at recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding. And as of this morning, there was 369 rebuild applications that have been received by LA County. For the past month, we've been receiving about 45 new applications per week. And every application that has been submitted to LA County is actively moving through our expedited review process. Planning, as Mitch mentioned, reviews the submittals first to determine what is proposed to be built. And of the 369 applications as of this morning, 199 applications have cleared the zoning review step. Another 135 applications have been reviewed by planning, and planning requested additional information or provided corrections to complete their review. As mentioned by both the supervisor and Mitch, we expect that the ArcaStar will help reduce the number of applications that need corrections or additional information once they're submitted. So for planning, there's currently 35 applications that are assigned and actively being reviewed. And planning is currently completing reviews in an average of 5 business days from submittal. And then once the zoning review is complete, an applicant must then submit full building plans detailing how the structure is proposed to be built in order to advance to the building plan review. As applicants continue to work on preparing their complete design plans, we're receiving about 14 plans per week for building plan review. So the 79 rebuild projects in Altadena have submitted their full design plans, and 5 have been issued and can now begin construction. 15 more are approved and pending clearances, such as fire debris removal or water service. 20 projects have been reviewed and returned to the applicant with requests for more information. 12 plans or submittals are actually still pending complete plans, and 27 are assigned and actively being reviewed. Our current average time to respond to submittals in Altadena for the building plan review is 4 business days. And in addition to rebuilds, over 450 alteration or repair permits have been issued out of the Altadena One Stop Center, including some for replacing destroyed detached garages. We've also received 24 applications to install temporary housing, such as RVs on sites. 8 properties have received permits to install, and 1 install is complete and has been finalized. 4 have been cleared and are ready for issuance on payment of fees, while others are pending additional materials or clearances for their on-site wastewater treatment system or potable water. And in closing, to assist homeowners and building industry professionals through the rebuilding process, we're hosting a series of Rebuild Together workshops. So if you wouldn't mind pulling up the next slide, we are focusing on a variety of rebuild-related topics, and we're continuously updating our recovery.lacounty.gov /rebuilding website with more information. A week ago, we hosted a virtual session on how to engage with a design professional, and that session is now recorded and posted on our workshops tab. This past Saturday, we hosted a session on our pre-approved plan program, a Head Start for homeowners, which we rolled out on April 26th. And on May 17th, as on screen there, we're going to host a like-for-like rebuilds in unincorporated LA County and why they matter. And so from here, I'll turn it over to Luis for an abatement update.
Hey, good afternoon. As the supervisor mentioned, can you hear me okay? Okay, perfect. As the supervisor mentioned, last Tuesday, the board approved an urgency ordinance to allow us to facilitate and expedite the removal of fire debris from properties within unincorporated LA County. That ordinance has 2 major milestones that everybody needs to be aware of. The first one is June 1st, which is the deadline for everyone who hasn't done so already to get a permit to be able to remove the fire debris. The other major milestone is June 30th, which is the date by which all work must be completed. In other words, all the fire debris must be removed from parcels. Failure to do so may result in your property being deemed a nuisance, as it is out of compliance with the ordinance that the board approved last week, and it will result in the county stepping in and removing the property, the debris from your property. Part of what would happen is that if we do have to go that way, we would charge the homeowners for the work to remove the fire debris. And if there is no payment when the invoices are sent, you risk having a lien put on your property for the value of the debris removal. So we are urging everybody that has already pulled a permit to make sure that they complete the work by June 30th. And folks who haven't pulled a fire debris removal permit to do so before June 1st. Over the next couple of weeks, we are going to continue to message those two milestones to make sure that everybody is aware of those two dates that are very critical in ensuring that we are able to remove fire debris from parcels by June 30th. And allow for the continued rebuild of unincorporated LA County. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Okay, thank you.
And just to confirm before I transition over to our next speaker, that there's nothing to add from regional planning.
No, we've concluded. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for confirming. Now turning it over to Dr. Nicole Quick with the Department of Public Health. Dr. Quick, the floor is yours.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And do we have slides or do I need to share?
We will get them up for you right now.
Perfect. I will start talking. All right. So I'm
Thank you.
going to cover a few things here this afternoon. The first thing I want to update everybody on is that we do have coming up this week, we'll be releasing more results related to the final stage of sampling for soil sampling in the area. And that, okay, next slide, please. Perfect. And that those results will be released at our upcoming town hall, which will be this Thursday at 6 p.m. And once again, these are the sampling results related to Rue and Associates and Dr. Love. This would be the sampling that has been done in areas that have been cleaned up under the government process through the Army Corps of Engineers. So we will have some results related to that. So please join us on Thursday at 6 p.m. All right, next slide, please. Also wanted to spend a moment to just talk about and remind folks that we have a lot of information on the post-fire air, soil, and water assessment page. And this essentially is a collaborative that DPH continues to participate with multiple academic institutions and other governmental regulatory agencies. If you navigate to our website or just search for that post-fire assessment, you can go ahead and search where that big arrow is. You can search by air, water, and soil. If you do so, it will pull up on a list all of the different entities that are involved with water, either water, air, or soil sampling. And these include our academic partners and other regulatory agencies such as the South Coast Air Quality Management District. We do also have a data dashboard that's related to this, where you can, in a visual representation, see some of these results by clicking on different elements of that. So I urge everybody to go there and check that out. As information becomes available, we are updating this page, and that will continue to go forward with that. Also wanted to point out that we do continue to meet on a weekly basis with all of these agencies and their subwork groups that are dedicated to water, soil, and air. So lots of good information on there for folks to check out. All right, next slide, please. One other thing to just point out, we have been fielding a number of questions related to some of the results that we have obtained versus other academic agencies and so forth. Did want to point out that we have a lot of information on our website related to safety and health after the fire. We have guidance related to individuals who have intact homes. We have guidance related to those that may be outside of the burn area. Some of the specific concerns that we are still hearing from is folks concerned about what this means in areas where there often are young children. We do have guidance related to what people can do in outdoor areas to reduce any potential exposure. That includes cleaning methods as well as things to think about to improve the health of soil. On the right side of what you're seeing right now, there are drop-down menus that have specific guidance, including guidance that we have given out to schools and so forth. So I really want to urge people to go ahead and check out our website there for all of this related to both indoor and outdoor. I do want to spend just a second to talk specifically about lead, because we continue to get numerous questions related to this. In general, we do want to point folks to some of the results that came out from our RUE study, the second part of the RUE study that looked at some of the downwind lead that was downwind in the Eaton area, where some areas were higher than others. We will be having a testing program that rolls out later this month for individuals in the most affected areas downwind from the Eaton burn area. And this is going to allow individuals to obtain soil sampling for, or I should say rather, soil testing for lead. More details to come on that. We will let that get that information out as soon as that program is finalized. We will be putting that up on the website and sending out press release for individuals to be able to obtain that. And once again, that's going to be for those that are in the area that is most affected downwind from the Eaton. But for right now, I also want to let people know that we have a lot of information up on the website related to what people can do to reduce any potential exposure to fire debris, ash, and soot, including lead. All right, that is it for me right now, and I will be available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Quick. Turning it over now to Assessor Jeffrey Prang. Assessor Prang, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Supervisor Barger, for inviting me to participate again. I did have just a quick update for you this evening. First, I did want to report that we have already successfully adjusted the property values for about 17,000 properties, which were impacted either with partial or complete destruction by the fires. If you've already paid your property taxes, you should expect a refund to reflect that damage on the property. We sent out notices to everybody who received a reduction in their assessed value. It was called a notice of assessment change. There's one point that's causing a lot of confusion that I want to take a moment to explain. Your assessment for property tax purposes works on a fiscal year, which begins July 1st and ends on June 30th. So if your home was completely destroyed and has zero value as a result, you may be a little surprised when you get this notice of assessment change, indicating that there's still 50% of value on your upcoming tax bill. The reason being is because of the nature of that fiscal year. You had the property between July 1st and January 1st of last year. The fires occurred in January of this year. So only 50% of that fiscal year will be reflected on this tax bill. The bill that you get in the fall will reflect the entire damage for the entire year. I know this is difficult for some people to get a hold of when they realize the house is gone, but they're still getting a tax bill. That's simply because it's prorated from the throughout the course of the entire fiscal year. We're going to be sending out additional information both by email as well as U.S. Postal Service to further explain how this works and how it impacts you. I did want to remind you that property taxes under this governor's proclamation are not due if you choose not to pay until April of 2026. And if for whatever reason you have a difficult time with your property taxes, the Office of the Treasurer and Tax Collector can help set up payment plans for property taxes. I have joined on the call with me Scott Thornberry, who's the Assistant Assessor, as well as Jerry House and Nicole White Gamble, who are experts who could answer any questions should any arise throughout the course of this evening. But that's what I wanted to report for this evening, Supervisor. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Assessor Prang, and thank you, Supervisor Barger, for again letting us go through this explanation of the notice of assessed value change. Next slide, please. So Assessor Prang did a great job in explaining what we're seeing on the notice of assessed value change. I just wanted to go over a few quick numbers with you and then get back into that assessed value change notice and kind of explain exactly what that is and why that notice of assessed value change doesn't quite reflect what you think it might reflect. So just some gross numbers. We have about 25,000 parcels in the impacted fire areas. about half in the Eaton Fire, about half in the Palisades Fire. Next slide, please. And this is the important part. 53% of the properties in those fire areas were destroyed completely. About 39% were no damage, and the remainder had partial damage. So most of you will be receiving a notice of assessed value change which reflects, those of you who had damage will see that notice of assessed value change that has 100% damage. Next slide. So you will have received, for those 17, next slide, please. There we go. So we have received claims for misfortune and calamity for a little over 12,000 parcels. And as Assessor Prang said, we have reduced values on 17,000, a little more than 17,000 parcels to date. And again, as Assessor Prang said, we have mailed out those notices of assessed value change, and those are the ones we want to talk about. Next slide. So this is what your notice of assessed value change looks like. This is a sample. And to Assessor Prang's point about the full damage, in this particular sample, 100% of the improvements were destroyed, and the improvements here mean structures. But you see where it says new roll value, it's still showing in this sample $900,000 in improvements. And that's reflecting that half the year that was before the damage versus half the year that was after the damage. If you notice on the just above where it says new roll value, it says this is the corrected assessment roll for year 2024. And just above that again is due to misfortune, calamity, or disaster value correction. So I want to go a little bit into detail on how we arrive at that 50% change in ownership. Or, I'm sorry, 50% reduction in value. Next slide, please. So what this is attempting to show here is that on the left side, from July 1st, 2024 till the time of the fires, in this particular sample, the assessed value was at $7 million. On the right side, between the wildfires and June 30, the upcoming June 30, 2025, the new value as a result of a 100% reduction to the improvements and a 35% reduction to the land is now $3.4 million on this particular property. What we do for that 2024 adjusted bill is we will blend those two together, 50% for the pre-fire value and 50% for the post-value fire. In this case, that comes up to $5.2 million. Now, you will have already paid your first installment. That's based upon half of that original assessed value. If you haven't yet paid your second installment, you will receive in about a month's time a reduced tax bill, which will be significantly reduced because you've already paid the vast majority of that particular tax bill. Or, as Assessor Prang said, if you paid that second installment already, you will receive a refund. Next slide. And so, as Assessor Prang said, it's not until the next fiscal year, starting on July 1st and going to June 30, 2026, that you will see that full reduction. In this case, $3.4 million to the land and no value to the improvements for a total of 3.4. So when you pay your first installment for the next year, you receive that tax bill in the mail in October, it will reflect the full 100% of damage. Next slide, please. Okay, so you can go to our website, assessor.lacounty.gov, and right at the front of the website, if you know your address, or if you know your parcel number, your AIN is what's being called here, you can enter that here and do a search, and you'll be able to see the status of your claim or the status of your misfortune and calamity. Next slide, please. And you'll be able to see right here on the front page, you'll be able to see that this has been approved. In this case, this particular sample has been approved, the misfortune and calamity. And you'll see, next slide, you'll see that the values, both the 2024 current roll and the 2025 roll being prepared, will reflect those values. In the 2024, this is that blended value, 50% pre-fire, 50% post-fire. And then for 2025, you will see the full extent of the damage. So you can visit the website, very easily get to your status. Now, some of you may have had your neighbor talk to you. You may have talked to your neighbor, and your neighbor received a notice of assessed value change, but you have not yet received your notice of assessed value change, and that is because there's still a number of parcels out there that we have to do additional work on. Some of these we have to get more information from you, and we will be reaching out to you. Some of them might have some new construction or maybe another change of ownership that has not been assessed yet, and we have to do that work before applying the new assessment, before applying the assessment reduction. And so just know that we are working on it. We're hoping to get through all of that by June of this year, so that it's all ready for your October tax bill. Next slide. You can also, on our website, you can, under the assessor.lacounty.gov, tax relief, disaster relief, you can go there and get more information on how to read these notices of assessed value change. And there's a short video, it's about 7 minutes, which fully explains that notice of assessed value change. You can also reach out to our staff. If you were in the Palisades Fire, you can call the West District office. The phone numbers are right here. If you were in the Eaton Fire, you can call the East District office, and we'll have staff be available to help you out. That's my presentation. And Assessor Prang, did you want to say a few concluding remarks?
Yes, thank you. I did want to just urge everyone, if you have not done so already, to go on our website as well and register for the homeowner alert. We are concerned about potential real estate scams. By signing up for the homeowner alert with your email address, you'll be notified within 48 hours if anybody's attempting to record something on your property, such as a grant deed or a deed of trust. You're probably all familiar with the increase in title fraud in recent years. We're particularly concerned about the victims of these fires being preyed upon. This is an easy program to sign up for. It's free, and it will let you know if somebody's trying to mess around with the ownership of your property. And you can get that on our website. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Assessor Prang. And Scott, moving on to our last presentation for this evening with the Los Angeles County Aging and Disabilities Department. Miguel and Victoria, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Supervisor Barger, for the opportunity to share some important information about an upcoming event we have. My name is Miguel Robledo. I'm with the Aging and Disabilities Department. I'd like to share that we are hosting an upcoming event in collaboration with Los Angeles County Development Authority and Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. We are having the reverse mortgage workshop happening on Saturday, May 10th, 2025. That's this Saturday, May 10th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Monte Cedro Senior Living Community in Altadena. This workshop is especially important and valuable to older adults who may have been impacted by the Eaton wildfires and may have questions about reverse mortgage. The workshop is designed for older adults to better understand their existing reverse mortgage loans, especially in the wake of potential property loss or damage caused by the Eaton wildfires. We will be collaborating with our community partner, Bedzedek, who is a trusted nonprofit legal provider with deep experience in supporting older adults for many years. So they are our trusted legal service providers. Their team will walk through a presentation and answer questions on mortgage terms, legal protections, and steps you need to take to potentially protect your property if damage was happening. It's important for homeowners who may have been unsure on how the fire damages potentially affects their reverse mortgages or their rights, and attendees will be able to spot, misinformation or avoid common pitfalls or potential scams. So who should attend? It's important that older adults with reverse mortgages in the community attend to get some questions answered, and please feel free to share this information with the community or family members or caregivers that you may know that need support with this important topic. The workshop is definitely geared towards empowering older adults with the knowledge they need to help protect their homes and understand their rights. So definitely I encourage you to help us spread the word about this workshop. And thank you again for the opportunity, and we hope to see you on May 10th.
Thank you, Miguel. And that concludes the presentation portion of our evening, and we will now transition to the question and answer portion. The following questions were submitted ahead of tonight's community meeting, and we will answer as many of them as we can in the allotted time. As a reminder, you can find answers to frequently asked questions on recovery.lacounty.gov/Altadena. Zoom attendees can submit questions in real time using the question and answer function on your screen. Agency representatives are on the Zoom meeting responding live. Please note that questions submitted to the YouTube live chat will not be answered. For those of you who are on YouTube and would like to submit questions, we encourage you to join us on Zoom by scanning the QR code on your screen. Our first question is for Colonel Abichal with the Army Corps. If you opted into the debris removal process, is there a deadline for the debris to be removed from your property by the Army Corps? And what if you opted out?
Okay, thank you for the question. So they'll be done with all of the properties by January 2026. We are moving significantly faster than our initial timeline. So, chances are your property will be done well before that date. As for if you opted out, it's not really our question, but I know 30 June was the date that Public Works had talked about earlier. But I'll defer to them for the official answer.
That's correct.
Over.
If somebody opted out, this is Luis Ramirez with Public Works. If somebody opted out, then there's those two deadlines. You have to pull your permit by June 1st and have the work completed by June 30th.
Thank you both. Our next question is for Public Works, and it reads, when will Public Works begin repairs on roads damaged by burned cars and melted asphalt, as well as collapsed sidewalks and curbs? What is the timeline and plan for this work?
I think I can take that one. The recent fires caused major damage to our communities and our roadways. We're prioritizing repairs for safety to the community as we are performing damage assessments, and we'll be preparing design plans for the repairs. We are working throughout the community to return it to normalcy. We will require time for the plans to be completed and the roadways, curbs, and gutters to be repaired or built. In the meantime, all roadways have been reviewed and are safe for usage, and sidewalks or curbs that are hazardous have been barricaded. While we understand that scars on the roadway are unsightly, we are prioritizing repairs for any safety concerns to maintain the roadway open. The only option available is to remove the scarring by milling the roadway and repaving it. This will be done in the future once we commence with reconstruction and rebuilding. At this time, it's too early to give a timeline as recovery work and impacts are still occurring, but we're happy to inspect any portions of roadways, curbs, or gutters immediately to rectify any safety issues that may pose a danger to people or motorists.
Thank you. Our next question is for Rochelle, a representative of SoCal Edison, who is on with us. And it reads, many standing homes, including mine in my neighborhood, continue to be on SCE's temporary generators. When will we be put back on regular power?
Hi, that's a great question. The answer is yes, it's likely that customers will be staying on temporary generation for perhaps the next several months. As many of you know, after the wildfires and windstorms in January, we prioritized a safe power restoration in this community, which included temporary power solutions such as service taps, temporary poles, and generators. the plan and timeline for more permanent solutions are now being developed. So in answer to the question, we're working on it, and we're trying to get temporary or more permanent solutions, but those are still currently being worked out. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, Rochelle. Going back to Public Works. If you want to switch from cesspool to sewer, what is the time frame to do this change, and how can we go about this?
Great, thanks. The circumstances for residents who want to switch from septic or cesspool to municipal sewer will depend on the specific location of your property and whether a municipal sewer line is already constructed in the street in front of your house. For additional information on this topic, we invite you to email Altadena Sewer at pw.lacounty.gov. Again, that's Altadena Sewer at pw.lacounty.gov. We'll be glad to review the specifics of your property and help guide you through what it would take to convert from septic or cesspool to municipal sewer, along with an estimated time frame for this potential change.
Thank you. Our next question is for Rob with the Department of Insurance. Are insurance cancellation timelines after a disaster declaration related to the requirement to show progress in rebuilding, or are they separate issues?
First of all, thank you for the question, Rob Oberdoza with the Department of Insurance. So there's a couple different timelines in play that I mentioned last week that I want to kind of reiterate. First is the overall insurance moratorium in all areas affected by the fires and the adjacent zip codes that protects all homeowners from non-renewal or cancellation until January 6th, 2026. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is that for those homes that suffered a total loss, those homes are guaranteed 2 additional extensions on their insurance policy for a minimum of 24 months as well. But in addition to that, if a home is taking longer than those 24 months to rebuild, there is actually a law that says that the insurance company cannot cancel if the home is still under current construction after a total loss. A couple exclusions are, of course, if the homeowner stops paying their insurance premium, or there's like fraud at play or misrepresentation in the claim. But for the most part, the insurer cannot cancel that coverage if the home is still going through the rebuild process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link to what's called the 2025 annual notice to insurers that we send out every year. And this is something actually that everyone should be receiving if you had filed a claim with your insurance company. But this lists a lot of the different laws, regulations, information related to the rebuilding and recovery process, especially in the event of a state of emergency, such as the Altadena fires. I'll share that in the chat, and hopefully Supervisor Barger's team can share that with everyone. But yeah, several different timelines. But yeah, if a home is still being rebuilt, your insurance company cannot cancel that without due cause.
Thank you very much, Rob. A question again for SoCal Edison. Why are power poles being installed when utilities are going underground?
Another great question, and similar to actually my response the last time. For the similar response, the short answer was that we really are providing some temporary power in certain situations. And in other areas where we're looking for permanent power, we will be going underground. But right now, those permanent solutions are currently being planned out. So right now, we do have some temporary power poles. And in some areas, we'll be doing covered conductor, which will actually be a lot quicker. Typically, targeted undergrounding can take 2 to 4 years to construct. So right now, we're just in the midst of putting together all those detailed plans, but more to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Luis, I see that your hand is up. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, I was going to say, as was mentioned, the undergrounding projects take a while to realize. So there is going to be a period of time where you will see overhead lines just to be able to restore service while these projects are being planned out. And the long-term plan is that once utilities go below ground, then those overheads will be removed. So there's going to be a transition period where you're probably going to see both underground utilities and above ground utilities.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis and Rochelle, both for that answer. Turning over back to Public Works. Will stumps be removed after trees are cut down?
Is that one for Army Corps? Or Chris, it looks like Army Corps will not be removing the stumps. The trees will be cut as close to the ground as possible. Is that right? Colonel Aubuchon?
Yeah, so we do not remove the stumps. They're cut, I think, about 2 to 3 feet from above the ground. But we are not removing stumps as part of the program.
Thanks.
Thank you. Going to Public Health, Dr. Quick. Is there a plan in place for in-home testing for standing structures?
So we do not have a program related to indoor testing. The program that we are going to be rolling out later this month is related to outdoor testing. So folks can gather soil samples and send it into a contracting lab. We do have quite a bit of information on our website related to steps people can do indoors to clean up if they have concerns about any lead in there. And that includes wet cleaning. So mopping and wiping things down. We also have a lot of guidance out there related to how to potentially reduce the amount of any lead that would be coming in from outdoor areas. So I would really urge folks to go to that and to visit our website for a lot of information on that.
Thank you. One more question, and this is for Public Works, actually. It had been mentioned in a previous meeting that county building permits follow a 3-year cycle and that a plan approved in 2025 would need to be reapproved in 2026. Can you please confirm or clarify this?
Absolutely. Thank you. That statement was related to our new pre-approved plan program, where designers can submit and get a plan approved for use at a variety of sites. So pre-approved plans, once they're submitted and approved, submitted by designers and approved by the county, will be good for 1 year, and they'll need to be resubmitted annually or after a code cycle change. So that would be related to the pre-approved plan program.
I was just going to add that you have to comply with the code that was active when you submit your plans. So if you submit this year, you're gonna have to comply with the current code. If you submit after the next code cycle, then you'll have to comply with whatever modifications are made in the upcoming code cycle. But yeah, we don't make you revise your drawings if you're already in the process of getting them reviewed.
That's a great point. Thanks. And on a related note, just important for people to know, if they did build something recently for the reconstruction of residential dwellings that were originally designed and constructed to either the 2019 code cycle or the subsequent one, we can't issue reconstruction permits using the same design as the original dwelling that met the 2019 codes without additional plan review. So just something important to note for somebody if they've built recently. Thank you.
Thank you. One more question for Public Works. What is Public Works doing to help commercial property owners obtain debris removal permits? Many were not aware of the deadlines and will need assistance.
Chris, are you on the line?
I can help with that. So anyone who needs assistance with removing a fire, obtaining a fire debris removal permit can reach out to us at Public Works at our debris removal hotline and obtain assistance with walking you through the fire debris removal permit process. So on recovery.lacounty.gov, under fire debris removal permit, you can find our hotline information. I'll read that out to you right now. It's 888-479-7328. Again, that's 888-479-7328, and we'll walk you through the permit process of how to obtain a permit. You can also find additional useful information on the website about how to look up certified contractors that can perform the work, that have the proper certifications through the Contractor State Licensing Board.
Thank you. And Dr. Quick, we have a question about the town hall. Can you please remind folks who are on where they can access information on how to join the town hall?
Yes, thank you so much. It's going to be on, again, Thursday at 6 p.m. And I will verify right now, if that's not up on the DPH website, it very shortly will be. If I can find that, I'll put that link into the chat right now.
Thank you very much. And we have time for one more question. And this is for the Army Corps. As a structure that is still standing, how can we learn when the debris within a certain yard or distance of our homes will be removed?
Yeah, so there's really no way for us to notify the entire neighborhood whenever we're doing debris removal. Typically, what we've seen in the past is, once we are in that neighborhood, the block captains kind of let people know. But again, the Army Corps is not sending out a mass notification to the entire neighborhood once we start debris removal. We have, just for awareness, typically we've gotten to that point where when we begin debris removal in an area, we are staying within that block or so until we've done just about every property on that particular block. So we're not jumping as far as we have in the past. So it is somewhat reliable. If we do begin debris removal in your area, we will probably be there for a few days or a few weeks. So thank you.
Thank you. And people can follow along using the maps that are on your website, correct?
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. And it looks like we have time for one more question. And this question is for Acting Captain Marquez, who is on, and it reads, what is the county doing to curb the high rates of crime and theft in Altadena?
Thank you. That's a great question. We're doing a lot of different mitigation efforts. One of the things that we're going to be introducing, and we've already got it online, is an email address called altadena.tips@lasd.org. I'll type it in the chat box or chat messaging center. And one of the things that we're trying to do is really incorporate the community in helping us curb any kind of things that are happening that shouldn't be happening in terms of crime. A lot of times we'll get people with tips. They'll have information to share. It may not result in necessarily a crime, but it could result in the prosecution later or us figuring out who's in the area that shouldn't be there. So if the community does have information to share, pictures, especially we're starting to get, maybe suspicious vehicles that have slowed down in front of their property. They're taking pictures of it, sending it to us. That can help with, our investigations, and we'd appreciate it. So I'll put that in the chat, the web chat, and we can start pushing that out. We're going to be shortly putting out a press release to let the community know.
Thank you very much. And that's all the time we have for questions today. For more information, you can visit your local disaster recovery center or visit us online at recovery.lacounty.gov/Altadena. You can also stop by the one-stop permit centers for resources as you rebuild. That's it. Thank you, everyone.